The NBA All-Star Weekend is right around the corner, and we're going to talk about it. Welcome to another episode of Full Court Press.
It's now time for your favorite in-depth basketball show with the myths, the legends, Nardog, and Raindrops Goulet!
How's it going? I'm Justin Raindrops Goulet, joined as always by the Nard Dog, David Bernardi. How is it going, good sir?
I'm doing pretty well, loving basketball, and as we both know, ball is life.
Great to hear, man. Yeah, that's the motto. All-Star Weekend is coming up. It's right around the corner. It's the biggest weekend of the NBA season. It's always a great time, always a huge spectacle. Let's talk about the Eastern Conference and Western Conference All-Star rosters. Throwing it right out there, DeMar DeRozan. First time being selected as a starter, his third All-Star game. He's going to be joined by fellow Raptor Kyle Lowry, who won't be starting this season, but he is on the reserves list. What do you think about DeMar DeRozan making the starting lineup? I personally think well-deserved. His play has been phenomenal this season.
Especially at the start of the season when he was incredible. All those 30-point games. He was setting some... He was getting some Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant type of scoring out there. And then, as we saw, the Raptors, he got injured, and the Raptors kind of plummeted in the standings. And he's come back, and the Raptors are on their way to winning their third straight game.
Oh, it's great to see. You could tell the difference that it makes with DeMar DeRozan out of the Raptors lineup. They weren't playing like the Toronto Raptors that we've gotten used to this NBA season, but when DeMar came back, it's like everything clicked back into gear, and they're back in fine form, back to their winning ways, which is fantastic to see. As a big-time Raptors fan, both you and I, it's great to see now.
Yeah.
Another name that really sticks out for the Eastern Conference All-Star starting lineup, and I know we've discussed it before. We discussed the starting lineup. Giannis Antetokounmpo. Again, we have troubles pronouncing his last name. It's Giannis of the Milwaukee Bucks. First time as an All-Star, and he's a starter. I think that's awesome. It's a huge kudos to him, a huge testament to his skills on the court. It's great to see he's such a young player getting that opportunity.
Yeah, the Greek Freak, as they call him, has been awesome this season. He's an all-around player. You can't go wrong with him. He's a highlight pack. He's what an all-star is, and he's shown it this all season.
Oh, it's great. Now, I know we have focused on the starters, so moving on to the reserves. Isaiah Thomas, what a year he's having. His second All-Star selection, no doubt he was going to be a reserve. The Boston Celtics are taking the Eastern Conference by storm, and they're led by Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, the man is a fourth-quarter machine, as we saw when he played the Raptors last game. He scored something like 41 points. Most of those points came in the fourth quarter. He's Boston's best basketball player right now.
He's unreal. He's killing it. He's playing some phenomenal basketball, and he's like a magician on the court. It's amazing the things that he's doing. And he's only what? He's 5'9", Isaiah Thomas?
Yeah, 5'9".
5'9", and height doesn't matter, and he's proven that.
Second round pick by the Sacramento Kings. Imagine how good the Kings would be right now with Isaiah Thomas alongside DeMarcus Cousins.
Well, they'd be doing a lot better, and I think DeMarcus Cousins would be a little bit happier if he had Isaiah Thomas by his side. Now, with that said, DeMarcus Cousins was also named to the All-Star game as a reserve for the Western Conference. Really no question there, no big surprise, because he's one of the best, if not the best big man in the league right now. Obviously a little bit of a temper, as we've discussed before, of course, but
yeah, we know what can change that.
Yeah, I know what you're getting at. A trade to a certain city in Canada.
But yeah, you look at both these West and East rosters for the All-Star game, and I don't think I can see any bad players that don't deserve to be in it. Like, yeah, C.J. McCollum and Damian Lillard have been great for the Trailblazers, but it's just all about your record, and the Blazers just haven't cut it this year, and Lillard's putting up a great season again. It's just that record's really tarnished his All-Star season.
Well, that's something I really wanted to touch base on. Is Damian Lillard is averaging a career high 25 points a game this season and a career high 6.8 assists per game. And I personally think it's kind of ridiculous that he's not an All-Star. He's a two-time All-Star. He was snubbed last season, and I think he was snubbed this year. It's unfortunate, but you only have room for so many All-Stars, right? And as you said, a team's record certainly plays a big factor on whether the player makes it on the All-Star team or not. And that,
Like you look at the West roster. You see Westbrook. You see Klay Thompson. You see Steph Curry, Harden, Durant, Leonard, and you got to give kudos to Gordon Hayward, who's brought life back to Utah with their winning ways this season. And I'm sorry, Damian Lillard. I love the guy. He's one of my favorite NBA players, but it just couldn't happen this year.
it's too bad, and I really hope going forward that Damian Lillard gets that recognition that I think he deserves. He was a Rookie of the Year in his rookie season. He's a great player. He's a really, really solid player, and Portland's a good team. But like you said, the record comes into play, and unfortunately didn't make the cut, which is it's sad to see, but it's the way it is, right?
But man, did you see that game last night? The Trailblazers and Mavs went back and forth. Dirk Nowitzki hits that three, and then McCollum comes back and hits the game winner.
Oh, they're doing some crazy things in Portland.
Yeah.
Kind of a resurgence, like their struggles, of course. But what do you think about looking at the guys who are going to be manning the bench? You talk about teams' records. Steve Kerr, of course, coaching the Western Conference All-Stars. No surprise there. But Brad Stevens. Brad Stevens, Boston Celtics coach. He's coaching the Eastern Conference. The Celtics have been great this year. You talk about records. They have stepped up their game. And what are they, second in the Eastern Conference now?
Yeah, they're 32-18. And Brad Stevens has been touted one of the best coaches in the NBA since he got hired a few seasons ago. And good for him. It's awesome to see.
Oh yeah. It's kind of a resurgence in Boston. It's I like the Celtics. I know they're the Raptors' Atlantic Division rival, but I've always been a fan of the Celtics for the most part of my basketball watching days. It is good to see them succeed. Now I hope the Raptors can overtake them to finish second, but
it's good that the Raptors have some competition in the Atlantic Division for once.
yeah, because we haven't seen that in the past few years. That hasn't been the case. The Raptors have kind of just been a clean sweep of the Atlantic Division, so it is nice to see them that they have that competition, as you said.
Like the Knicks suck, the Nets suck, and the Sixers, they have a great future, but I don't see playoffs this year. They had a good stretch a few weeks ago where they were winning all these games, but they're starting to come down to earth.
Yeah. Still going to be some bumpy patches for the 76ers until they can, like you said, they've got a bright future. They have a really good young core, guys like Joel Embiid and Jahlil Okafor, of course, but I don't think they're going to do much damage anytime soon. Yeah. Now, speaking of the Young Guns, moving on to the rest of the All-Star Weekend festivities, there's the Rising Stars Challenge, of course. Canadians Trey Lyles and Jamal Murray are going to be taking part playing for Team World against Team USA. That's pretty cool. That's always an entertaining game to watch. The rookies and sophomores around the league.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty entertaining game. We got guys like Devin Booker, he's starting to be one of my favorite players. The guy is just an all-around stud. He's going to be an awesome player for the Suns going in the future. And D'Angelo Russell, we got on Team USA. Of course, you know how I feel about Karl Anthony Towns. He's going to be a future Hall of Famer.
Oh, yeah. Another big man who I'm a fan of is Kristaps Porzingis. So he's been doing damage in New York. He's a really strong player for a sophomore. He's got a very bright future. And you guys, like the Canadians, Jamal Murray and Trey Lyles, Emmanuel Mudiay, a strong roster here. Joel Embiid playing for Team World. It's that rookie sophomore showcase is always entertaining. You got some nice alley-oops. They got some nice highlight plays during that game.
Can't forget Mr. Triple Double Man, Nikola Jokic.
No. Yeah.
And Domas Sabonis, Arvidas' son, just making that All-Star team, or that All-Star. Maybe he'll be an All-Star one day.
Hey, there's a thought right there. You never know, right?
His father never did.
Yeah, so there's a thought. So that'll be an entertaining game, as it usually is every year. And then, of course, um, something that a lot of people consider the real highlight of All Star Weekend. There's the All Star Saturday night. Starting
Yeah,
things off, there's the skills challenge, and I like what they've done with the skills challenge. At first I wasn't totally on board, but after seeing it being executed, I think it's pretty cool. They take the guards and the smaller players and kind of pit them against or team them up with the larger guys. So in the skills challenge, we've got Joel Embiid, Anthony Davis, Porzingis, DeMarcus Cousins, Gordon Hayward, Devin Booker, John Wall, and of course Isaiah Thomas. It's they put them against each other, quarterfinal matchup, then semifinals, and then the finals. So it's like a mini tournament for the skills challenge, and it's really something else to see how quickly these players get through that obstacle course, that circuit. It's
yeah.
really something else. It's awesome.
So who do you got?
I would like to see Isaiah Thomas do some damage. John Wall is also a good option,
Yeah.
but as we saw, Carl Anthony Towns was actually the winner last year, and
Yeah.
you can't you can't count out the big man. So who knows? Maybe Anthony Davis will do something, or maybe Joel Embiid will surprise us. But I would put my money on Isaiah Thomas.
I'm gonna go with my boy Devin Booker.
You're going with Devin Booker? Yeah, yeah, big Devin Booker fan.
Oh yeah.
Right on. Now I'm moving on from the skills competition to the 3-point contest, which has gotten pretty intense in years past. Kyle Lowry of the Raptors participating in the 3-point contest. Klay Thompson, CJ McCollum, Eric Gordon, Kyrie Irving, Kemba Walker, Nick Young, and Wes Matthews of the Mavericks. I want to just go with Lowry,
Yeah.
who recently set a franchise record for the Raptors, hit 802 3-pointers, and that was a franchise mark for the Raptors. Something really special. I'd like to go with Lowry on this one, but of course you've got Klay Thompson as a good option. These are all strong competitors. Kyrie Irving can hit quite a few threes if he gets a good stroke going. CJ McCollum, that's I don't know, but
Yeah.
I just because of the Raptors fandom, I'm gonna go with I want to go with Kyle Lowry on this one. I'd love to see Kyle Lowry be a 3-point shootout champion.
Yeah, this is gonna be a tough one to choose. Like we got Kyrie Irving, he's a former champion of 3 point, and then we got Klay Thompson, who's also a former champion. And I'd say Klay Thompson is the favorite, but I'm gonna say Eric Gordon.
You gonna go with Eric Gordon? Oh, nice.
How well he's played with Houston this year, hitting all those threes. I'm gonna say Eric Gordon wins it this year.
Ah, well, we'll see how that pans out, sir.
And I,
Now,
and then you see CJ McCollum. It's so hard to choose, but
it's
yeah, I'm
tough.
going
It's
Gordon.
such a strong field of competition, right? Even someone like Kemba Walker can get on a roll. So Nick Young, Wes Matthews, it's a really good field right there.
Yeah,
Now, the main event of the All Star Saturday night, something that's kind of been rejuvenated in years past, thanks to two individuals in particular, Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine. Unfortunately, Zach LaVine injured, out for the rest of the season, so he will not be competing, which sucks.
that,
That's brutal.
I was so disappointed when I heard that torn ACL. A guy who's just trying to expand his game, and that's why he didn't participate in the dunk contest. He doesn't want to be labeled as a dunker, and he's been playing so well this year. 20 points a game. It sucked to see him tear his ACL.
Yeah, it's always very unfortunate to see players go out due to injury. So, of course, what we're talking about is the slam dunk contest. Aaron Gordon is going to be participating, so maybe this will finally be this will be Aaron Gordon's year. He'll actually win it this season. He's going up against Derek Jones Jr., Glenn Robinson III, and DeAndre Jordan. I am intrigued to see what DeAndre Jordan brings to the table because he's certainly
Yeah.
one of those big men that's a power dunker, and that's something that I'm kind of like, well, if you rely strictly on power in a slam dunk contest, it's not the '80s anymore. That's not impressive. I want to see things like what
But
Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine did. I want to see that, those high intensity stunts. I expect that hyper athleticism in the NBA these days. So I think Aaron Gordon could deliver.
I expect this to be an Aaron Gordon and Derek Jones final.
Yeah, I don't know
If you
much
look to
about
see
Derek
Derek
Jones.
Jones, He comes from the NBDL,
Okay.
and he's basically barely played with the Suns during his very short NBA career thus far, but the man could get up there.
Yeah, like that'll be nice. Like he's a youngin. He's only 19, and he's in the dunk contest. It's well, turning 20. He's turning 20 on the 15th, so right around All Star Weekend. Um,
You watch some of these NBDL dunk contests, and those men can fly. So
mhm.
I'm expecting this Derek Jones guy to be very similar to that, and he's going to put on a show.
Yeah, that'll be good. It'll be very, very good to watch. I expect some good things from the slam dunk contest this year. Then, of course, the All Star game is what caps off the entire weekend. Always an exciting matchup. I hope it's close and it
Yeah,
goes. It's one of those games that goes down to the wire.
yeah, those are always fun, and I think we prefer if it was DeRozan or Lowry who wins the MVP.
Yeah, that would be great to see. And I don't want to count DeMar DeRozan out. I think they both have a good shot at it, but I think the favorite to win the All Star Game MVP is someone who I believe should have been voted in as a starter, as we've talked about before, Mr. Russell Westbrook. He's won the
Yeah,
MVP in the All Star Game in the past, and he's a two-time All Star Game MVP, 2 years in a row, last season and the season before. So he's got a good chance at winning it again,
and I'm
especially
sure
with what he's doing this season.
he's got a lot of motivation, as well as the not being named a starter. And there's this whole like Durant thing. He's gonna want to show up Durant.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah, it's gonna be awesome to see, and kind of movie-like to see Durant and Westbrook play on the court at the same time again,
yeah,
on the same team.
yeah. I just think if the West wins, I think it's gonna have to do with Westbrook.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll see how it all pans out the All Star weekend, the All Star game on February 19th. It's going to be awesome. John Legend doing the halftime show. It's going to be a great time.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, John Legend's doing the halftime show.
Yeah, I've recently been listening to one of his songs. It's called "Tonight."
I don't know if I've heard that yet.
Yeah, I recently watched a movie called "Think Like a Man," and I guess one of his songs "Tonight"
Oh, right on.
is on there, and I'm just like, I'm loving this song ever since.
Think like a man. Isn't Kevin Hart in that?
Yeah, yeah.
I think Kevin Hart will probably be competing in the celebrity game this year. I haven't.
I swear last year was supposed to be his last
Oh
All-Star
yeah,
game.
didn't he? Yeah, he's marking his retirement. Well, it's going to be a fun weekend, as it usually is, the NBA All Star Weekend. I'm excited about it, very much looking forward to it. And then after that all wraps up, we go into the second half of the NBA season. What do you think we've got in store? What do you think is going to happen in the second half of the season?
Well, we know my thoughts about the Raptors, and speaking of All-Stars, there's that guy named DeMarcus Cousins, who would look nice in a Raptors jersey. But if they can't get Cousins, then you look at a guy like Serge Ibaka, and I'm sure Masai Ujiri would love to get him with his African connections there.
Yeah. And,
And
you know,
if the Raptors can get Ibaka without trading uh, DeRozan, Lowry, and Valanciunas, I think it'd be a really good trade for them.
I think that would work out nicely, and I kind of liken Serge Ibaka to a better version of he's a better version of Bismack Biyombo. Like that's not discount.
Yeah,
Bismack was an awesome player. He did some really good things for Toronto, but Ibaka is kind of like a souped up version
yeah,
of Bismack because they have a very similar playing style. They both play that role of just locking down the paint, grabbing rebounds, block party. Like that's what they do. Ibaka's got more experience as well. Ibaka's an awesome player. I would totally welcome him in a Raptors uniform.
Now, does Ibaka put the Raptors over the Cavs? I don't know about that.
I think DeMarcus Cousins gives the Raptors a better chance of going over the Cavs
Yeah,
than Serge
sure.
Ibaka does. Yeah, so
Or another name, Jimmy Butler, who's been floating around trade rumors. If the Raptors can get him without trading Lowry or DeRozan, that would be huge.
That would be, that would be something else. Like if that were to happen, how do you think that would shape the Raptors starting lineup? Will we get a Lowry at point guard, Butler at shooting guard, DeRozan at small forward, Carroll at power forward, and JV at center?
Well, I just hope that Carroll is part of that trade.
You want to see, yeah.
Yeah, they can also. I don't know. I'd say Valanciunas probably goes the other way if they get a guy like Butler.
Yeah, it's a pretty high price to get someone like Jimmy Butler.
As we've discussed, Lowry or Valanciunas, Ross, and first round pick for Cousins. You love them.
Yeah, so maybe that's what Masai Ujiri is thinking. Only time will tell.
But right now, I still think the favorites are Warriors versus Cavaliers in the finals.
Yeah, let's see that again.
Anything could happen.
Exactly, it's the NBA, so we'll see what goes down in the second half of the NBA season. Now, you mentioned DeMarcus Cousins, very controversial player, as we've discussed before. He's got a temper. Another player that was kind of brutish and like one of those bigs that was kind of tough and rough is Charles Oakley, legendary New York Knick. Now, this just happened, actually. This just happened. Apparently, Charles Oakley got into an argument with a fan or with Knicks owner James Dolan. With Knicks owner James Dolan, he got into an argument. The Knicks against the Clippers. At that game, Oakley got into an argument with Dolan, shoved him, and was escorted out of the building. And they're saying that Oakley got arrested by New York City police. What is up with that?
You tell me. That's a weird situation right there. But as you said, he's got a temper. And apparently he's been feuding with the Knicks organization lately. I don't know about what, but I guess something just escalated at the MSG tonight.
Yeah, I think, well, you know what? It's definitely the weirdest story out of the NBA that I could think of right now, because I don't really know the backstory to it.
You mentioned a quote that the New York Knicks organization gave.
Yeah, so apparently there's the statement released by the Knicks was this: Charles Oakley came to the game tonight and behaved in a highly inappropriate and completely abusive manner. He has been ejected and is currently being arrested by the New York City Police Department. He was a great Knick, and we hope he gets some help soon.
That get help soon. What does that mean?
I don't know. I want to find out more about this story. I want to dig further into this. Well, there'll probably be more information released within the next couple of days, but I have so many questions. It's kind of pretty confusing.
Get help soon. Does he have a drinking problem? What's going on?
I don't know. He was a great Knick, and we hope he gets some help soon. I'm not too sure, but I'm thinking more information it should be released within the next couple of days, and we'll possibly find out more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing that happened. It's the most excitement we've seen at MSG all season.
Yeah, that it is. Now, speaking of nice, well said. Speaking of MSG and the New York Knicks, Carmelo Anthony, do you think he's going to stick around with the Knicks? What do you think is going to happen? There's been so many talks about Melo leaving New York and possibly joining Cleveland to team up with Kevin Love and LeBron.
Yeah, I think Phil Jackson just wants to get rid of Melo and just make it a Porzingis team.
Yeah.
But the way things are going, the last game the Cavs played against the Wizards and Kevin Love just went off. I think it was 39 points. After that whole thing about LeBron wanting to trade Kevin Love for Melo, which LeBron said after the game was trash.
Yeah.
It's just, you can't just. I don't think they should make that trade.
No.
It just hurts the chemistry of the team.
I don't think that would work out. And you know what? As a fan of Porzingis, and Porzingis has come out and said that he likes playing with Melo. He wants to play with Carmelo Anthony because that helps with his development. Have this veteran, this awesome player like Carmelo Anthony, help out this young guy like Kristaps Porzingis. I think it's important for Porzingis' development to play with Melo. So I think you just leave Carmelo in New York. I don't think he needs to be traded. I don't see what the benefit is for the yeah, you make it a Porzingis show, but you could still make it a Porzingis show, and Melo can be a supporting character with it. I know he's Carmelo Anthony, but you can kind of.
The Clippers, they lost Chris Paul for the season, and I don't know how much longer that team has. I think maybe the Clippers trade for Melo at the deadline this year.
Well, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens around the NBA trade deadline. See what moves are made. See if any of these teams actually make deals. See if Jimmy Butler is dealt away. See if DeMarcus Cousins goes to Toronto, because that's been a talk for such a long time. So we shall see what happens.
Yep, the Raptors gotta make a trade.
That they do. Now, just before we wrap things up, a little fun fact, just bringing it back to All-Star Weekend, talking about Damian Lillard. When doing the research for this episode, I actually I don't know if you knew this, but Damian Lillard has an album out. Damian Lillard's a rapper. I had no idea. I was looking up his biography, and it's like, yeah, Damian Lillard is a rap artist. I was like, what? I had no idea that he did that, but he has a full album. It's called The Letter O, and he goes by the name Dame Dollar.
Dame Dollar.
Dame Dollar. It stands for different on levels the Lord allows.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got 12 tracks on this album. He's got a track featuring Lil Wayne and a track featuring Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx?
Yeah, I had no idea.
I've heard he's pretty good. I just haven't found the effort to listen to him yet.
It sounded all right. I listened to a little bit before. I listened to a little bit of it earlier. I haven't listened to any full songs yet, but he's got some decent flow going.
He's got those lyrics on point.
Yeah, lyrics on point. But there's the fun fact for this episode of Full Court Press. Damian Lillard has an album out. It's called The Letter O. Dame Dollar.
Dame Dollar.
Dame Dollar. Well, Nard Dog, any final thoughts as we head into NBA All-Star Weekend?
Final thoughts are basically the Raptors should make a trade. I've been saying this for the past couple months, more than a couple months. If the Raptors want to do anything, at least compete with the Cavs, and if they want to compete with the Celtics now, then they got to make a trade.
Yep.
That's just my 2 cents.
Oh, there you go.
And by the way, the Raptors lost tonight to the T-Wolves. They blew that lead.
Ugh. Well, damn. Hopefully they get back on a nice winning streak and don't lose to teams like the T-Wolves, who they could easily beat.
Yeah.
Raptors. See how they turn things around going into the second half of the NBA season. Now, Nard Dog, Twitter, Instagram, social media, where can people find you?
At Twitter and Instagram, I'm at DavidBernardi7.
Right on, man. And for me on Twitter and the Instagram, I'm at JustinGoulet21. And of course, check out the Full Court Press Facebook page and the YouTube channel. Links to all past episodes of Full Court Press going all the way to episode 1 and all future episodes of FCP. We've been doing this for quite a while. It's crazy to think about. It's been... This month marks 3 years since the first episode of Full Court Press was produced.
Damn.
Unbelievable. Always a time, Nard Dog. It's been great.
Always a time, having time.
Oh, it's wonderful. Well, that's going to wrap things up for this episode of FCP. Get excited for the NBA All-Star Weekend. I'm Justin Raindrops Goulet.
And I'm the Nod Dog, David Bernardi.
Thanks so much for checking this episode out, and we will catch you next time.
Cheers.
You've just been hit with Full Court Press. Courtesy of the men, the myths, the legends, Nard Dog, and Raindrops Goulet.